then we have the children's ministry from the back. They're going to be, oh, sorry, not today. So, little ones, listen up. All right? We're big kids today. So we're on our series, St. Mary, the Olympian of Faith. And last week, we looked at an attribute or characteristic of St. Mary that made her a great Olympian of faith. Who remembers? Huh? Obedience. St. Mary practiced obedience. And just like any athlete who practices on a very regular schedule, okay, and is very dedicated to practicing in his own sport, they become highly favored to win. You would choose the one who is highly favored. You would say this one is highly favored because they have highly practiced. And what we're looking at with St. Mary, she practiced obedience her whole life, and that's why the Lord came, the angel Gabriel came and said, you are highly favored because you are obedient. You practice obedience. And so, this week we're going to look at a new characteristic of St. Mary, but I love the Olympics. I have been watching so much Olympics this week. I love it. All right? Who knows? There we go. Who knows the guy on the right is? Go ahead.
Oh, I don't know his name, but I was listening to his...
Not a true Olympic fan. Don't know the name? Come on.
He's doing diving.
Yes.
He's talking about Christ. And he said,
Okay.
I don't want my identity.
David Badad. Okay, I watch all week, and I love seeing who wins, and I love the story behind how they won, how they got to win. Okay, so David Badad, he is the 10-meter synchronized diving silver medalist from this year, and next to him is his partner Steele Johnson. I can't remember the last name. Okay, I'm not like that. Anyway, so his first Olympics was back in 2008 in Beijing. He placed 5th and then 10th in the two events. Struggled, contemplating kind of retirement, saying I'm going to walk away, wasn't really sure what he was going to do, and kind of questioned things for a while. He questioned things for a while. But he hung in there, and his coach, who was a Christian, started to talk to him about faith, about his relationship with God. And so, after 2008, he struggled for a while. 2009, he started to take the right steps and really put life into perspective. And then he competed in 2012 in London and won the 10-meter individual high diving. I don't know about you, but like 10 meters, they say that you hit the water at 35 miles an hour. That's unbelievable. So kudos to them. And then this year, he won gold then, and then this year he has a partner for the first time competing in the first Olympics, and they came second to China. Okay? But just prior to this Olympics, he actually published a book called Greater Than Gold. Greater Than Gold, where he talks about his faith and how his faith and his identity is not in the medals that he wins, but it's in who he is as a child of God. Okay? Greater Than Gold. I haven't read the book, just found about it. But what a great story. But see, just like him and many, many other athletes, at a certain period of time, they question what they're doing. They question, like, why am I doing all this? Why am I making a fight to go practice? Why do I travel around the world to compete in all these different events and all these, things that are very taxing on an individual? And so, it's very easy to look at athletes and what they struggle with, and then look at our faith and say, hey, like our faith mirrors what athletes can go through. And actually, Paul saw this, and Paul in 1 Corinthians 9, 24 and 25 kind of drew the parallel. He says, do you not know that those who run a race all run, but one receives the prize? Run in such a way that you may obtain it. And everyone who competes for the prize is temperate in all things. Now they do it to obtain a perishable crown, but we do it for an imperishable crown. So St. Paul, and I'm copying St. Paul, he used athletics and competition to explain faith. He used athletics and competition to help explain our faith. But he says they're doing it for medals, but we're doing it for a crown that never perishes. But nonetheless, as every athlete who realizes he has gifts starts to practice and starts to compete, comes into a period of time where they start to question, what are they doing? Likewise, we question in our faith, what am I doing? Why am I showing up every week? Why am I paying out of my pocket to support? Why am I following this God when it seems really difficult at times? That's a very normal question to have. And St. Mary faced those questions. She is our mother, she is the Olympian of Faith, but she had the same questions. The first question that we come across with St. Mary was our first introduction to St. Mary when the angel Gabriel came. He said, you will bear the Son of God. What was her question? How can it be since I don't know man? And the angel gave the answer. The Holy Spirit will come upon you, and the power of the highest will overshadow you. She was questioning. She's like, okay, I understand, you're telling me something. It's really hard to comprehend. But how's it going to happen? She had a question, a very natural question. But this was the first of many, many more questions to come. All right? Next question that St. Mary faced. Who can kind of pick this story out? I have a big hug for whoever can tell me who this person is. Huh? Simeon, okay? Simeon, Luke chapter 2. Okay, it's also the gospel of which hour in the Agpeya? Huh? Not first. First comes from John, where it says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God. 12, okay? You're close, all right? But I'm also on a time limit, so 12, all right? And what does the 12 say? And behold, there's a man in Jerusalem whose name was Simeon. This man was just and devout, waiting for the consolation of Israel. And the Holy Spirit was upon him, and it was revealed to him that he would not see death before he had seen the Lord Christ. So he came by the Spirit into the temple. And when the parents brought in the child Jesus to do for them according to the custom of the law, he took him up in his arms and blessed God and said, Lord, now you're letting your servant depart in peace, according to your word. For my eyes have seen your salvation, which you have prepared before the face of all people. A light to bring revelation to the Gentiles and glory of your people Israel. All right? Luke chapter 2, 12th hour. That's how we conclude the day. If you think of our spiritual day, we conclude it by saying, Lord, I have seen your salvation. All right? But Simeon, after he said all that, all right, St. Mary and Joseph, after the days of purification, watching Simeon say this, said, and Joseph and his mother marveled at those things which were spoken of him. They looked at it. They saw the scene. Days of purification was about 40 days after the birth of Jesus. And Simeon said, this child is going to be great. And Mary and Joseph looked and were like, huh, weird things are happening since this child came and was announced to us. All right? And that was Luke 2, verse 33. But then Simeon took it one step further. He said, then Simeon blessed them, and he said to Mary, his mother, behold, this child is destined for the fall and rise of many in Israel, and for a sign which will be spoken against. Yes, a sword will pierce through your own soul also, that the thoughts of many hearts may be revealed. So not only did Mary say, get this, your son is going to be great, but Mary got a message from Simeon saying that your heart's going to be crushed. Your heart's going to be crushed. Talking about when she would look at her son dying on the cross. If you're married 40 days in, you got questions. Like, what is he talking about? What is he talking about? There's another story where Mary had a big question. Okay? What's this one?
Putting a camera.
Huh?
Putting a camera.
Not the wedding of Cana?
Christ teaching.
Huh? Christ teaching in the temple when? It wasn't totally teaching in the temple yet, actually, but he was as a child, okay? As a child. So in Luke 2, the family went to Jerusalem to celebrate Passover, and then in those days, they traveled as a big group. It wasn't just like when they say family, it wasn't just Joseph, Mary, and Jesus. It was Joseph, Mary, Jesus, and all their cousins and everybody who lived in the surrounding town of Nazareth, which is where they're from. And so they traveled as a big group to Jerusalem. They attended Passover, and then as a big cohort of people, they traveled back. All right? It's about a 2 to 5 day journey. 2 if you're going straight through Samaria. 5 if you want to take the safe road around Samaria, because Jews and Samaritans don't get along. All right? So it's between 2 and 5 days. What Luke tells us is that after about a day's journey back to Nazareth, Mary and Joseph realized that Jesus isn't here. And so they left. Okay, they left, and this was dangerous to them. This was very dangerous to them. They traveled in a pack for safety reasons. So Joseph and Mary left after a day's journey, came back, found him in the temple preaching. Not preaching, but what it says is like he was questioned and asking questions. Okay, he was talking with the scholars and the Pharisees. And after Joseph and Mary finally found him, his mother said to him, "Son, why have you done this to us? Look, your father and I have sought you anxiously." Why was she so anxious? How old was Jesus when this happened? 12. Why is that significant? I didn't realize this before. Why is 12 so significant? Huh?
She was told at 12 when she was in the temple, also at 12.
It's possible. But between 12 and 13, child, adult. Child, adult. Okay? All of a sudden you have a 13-year-old who's sitting in the temple with the Pharisees talking about the kingdom of heaven. You could probably get a sense that this young boy may have hinted that he was the Son of God. You do that as an adult, you should be put to death. You do it as a child, we can write you off. We can write you off. So Mary comes in, Joseph comes in, hear what they're talking about, knows what's at stake. For sure, not only are they afraid because they have the only claim to this, we lost the Son of God, all right? But they went into the temple, and they heard what he was talking about, and they knew that if it was taken in the wrong way, he would die. He could die. That's why they saw him anxious. Jesus looked at him and said, "Why are you worried about me? Don't you know I'm here to do my Father's work?" And Joseph and Mary said this, but they did not understand the statement which he spoke to them. Questions. Questions. They struggled with questions. A lot of questions. But what did Mary do? Okay? What did Mary do with these questions? Because if we look at up to this point, that's 12 years. We knew that Christ died at the age of 33, roughly. So that's another 21 years. 21 years of not understanding the full picture. 33 plus years in total, because it probably wasn't until after his ascension and after they started to see the works of the Holy Spirit that again the picture was really complete. But from day 1 to 12 years old to looking at his ministry, questions. And what happened? What did Mary do with questions? She did struggle. Man, I wish she could invite you guys more often. Right? She struggled with the questions. But his mother kept all these things in her heart. It's one verse, but it's a powerful verse. But she kept all these things in her heart. Some translations will say that she pondered these things. She pondered these things. For years. For years. 3 decades. She pondered these questions. This is where St. Mary is Olympian of our faith. Yes, she was the mother of God. But she had questions just like you and me question. She struggled just like you and me struggle. But she pondered. She pondered these things. She took them in her heart and she pondered them for many, many years. For many, many years, she pondered them. There's 2 big things that come when we ponder. When we take time and we wonder, God, what are you doing? How are you working these things? I had this event, this event, this event. I don't know what to make of it. This man told me my heart's going to be crushed. This son that you gave me a heart attack when he was 12. I watched his ministry for 3 years, and it was a confusing ministry. She questioned. We question. Questioning is not wrong. But having the endurance to question brings 2 things into our life. First thing that it brings is what I've come to call holy unknown. We have a greater appreciation for holy unknown. Okay? Now, we like to know things. When we don't know things, we go and look it up. All right? But how do we look up what God is doing? How do we look up what God is doing? Especially when Isaiah tells us this, for my thoughts are not your thoughts, my ways are not your ways, says the Lord. For the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, my thoughts than your thoughts. He says it clearly. He's like, there's no way you're going to match and be able to comprehend what I'm thinking and how I'm working. You will not know. If you're a parent, you ever try and explain how complicated planning a vacation is to a 3-year-old? Like, look, my ways of planning are not your ways. All right? And if I can't explain that to my child, we're expecting God to explain what He's doing, not just with you and your family, but you, your family, your church, your community, the city, the world, the states, and all the continents. He's going to explain that to us. So now we come upon the power of pondering allows us to accept and be comfortable with holy unknown. It's not just saying, like, I don't know and that's it. It's saying, I don't know, but I know who does. And it's okay that I'm like, He's not telling me. I know who does know, and it's God. But I don't know exactly what He's doing. It's different than saying, like, I don't know what my boss is thinking. I don't know what my classmates are going to do. I don't know what my friends are going to do. Okay? I can figure that out. But holy unknowing is saying, I don't know what God is doing. But that's okay. Because I'm going to wait on God. Which brings us into another thing that power of pondering, or endurance to pondering, brings. Holy unknowing leads into being able to wait on God. Holy unknowing is essential to being able to wait on God. Okay? Waiting on God is a manifestation of our trust in Him, and it also serves as a strength, a source of strength for us. Okay? Because when I don't know what God is doing, and I trust what God is doing, I will wait. Waiting and not taking things in matters into my own hand is a manifestation that I say, God, I trust you. I don't know what's going on. I don't know when you're going to resolve it, but I'm going to remain obedient to you. It's how we can tangibly say, are we trusting God or not? To say, I don't know what God is doing, but I will wait on God. And so I'm manifesting my trust in God instead of taking matters into my own hands. The other thing it does is it provides strength. And Isaiah 40:31 says it, for those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength, and they shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not be faint. Waiting on God is a source of strength. It's a manifestation of truth, but it's a source of truth. St. Mary was the Olympian of this. She won the gold medal because she had a lot of questions. She had a lot of unusual situations occur to her. And what did she do? She went home to Nazareth, and she pondered these things in her heart. We have a hard time waiting. We don't like to wait for anything. The only two things we can potentially wait for are either at the DMV or when you're sending an application to the government. Because you have no idea when those things are coming back. Other than that, we are the most impatient people possible. We have to find things now. I have to have things now. Amazon Prime, thank you, you have caused us. Okay? Because not only was 2 days not enough, now we have 2-hour Prime. We don't know how to wait. And all of a sudden, we're going to come to God who is orchestrating this world and say, God, I need an Amazon Prime prayer. And he says, I want you to learn the endurance of pondering, the fruit of pondering. It'll do you well in your walk of faith with me. Because I'm not in the business of just handing out things right away. The way I work is over time. You don't believe me? Look at my mother. And look at what she waited. And look at what she done. Look at the questions she had. Look at what she wrestled. My mother is an Olympian of Faith. The endurance to ponder is a key characteristic. It's a key thing for us as people who are walking after Christ. We have to, in our faith, figure out how to have endurance and build endurance to ponder and wait on the Lord. St. Mary did it, and that's why she's an Olympian of faith. But can you and I do it? Because when you and I do this, and when we come to next week, we'll see the fruit of it. We'll see the fruit of practicing obedience, endurance to pondering, and those two together next week, as we conclude the fast of St. Mary's, talk about what those two do together. Okay? So right now, as we close our eyes for the next minute, let's talk about it and think about it. Talk with God about the endurance to ponder, the need to be able to wait, to slow down, to not have the answers, and be okay with not having answers. Say, God, I don't know what's going to happen, but I know it's in your hands. The endurance to ponder. Glory be to God forever.